Hi Danica, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining me. So just a quick, real casual chat. Wanted to ask you first off, what made you jump into the 12-week transformation program? What kicked you off into it?
Yeah. Look, I was going through a period of change in my personal life and my business life. So I just come out of being diagnosed with breast cancer. Things were traveling well with my health, but there were some changes happening for me. I was changing quite a bit in my life with how I structured my business right through to, how I wanted to live. And I saw the transformation as a way of having some support and coaching to really make those things happen. And I truly believe it starts with your body and your mind.
Yeah.
So, because we had worked together in the past and I'd been in spin class, I knew the impact that you can have on me and the positive influence. So, I thought doing that intensively is probably just what I needed at that point in time.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So could you break down like what the promo was like for you, like in terms of the food, the workouts and the support and things like just briefly what sort of breakdown and what you found helpful and what you didn't?
Yeah. Look, first of all and foremost, accountability.
Yeah.
Accountability is, I think, when you're looking to make change and to looking to embed that change into your day-to-day life, accountability is the biggest thing because we always tend to make little excuses.
Yeah. Don't we ever?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also you really helped me recognize what I was already doing. And
Mhm.
I wasn't recognizing that. Like I walk my children to school every morning and then take the dog for a walk. Like I don't actually recognize that as exercise and movement.
Yeah.
So it was taking those foundations and building upon that. And I love that we would just tweak the exercise programs around that. So what was I already doing and then what I could just top up to help me. The other thing was you were really flexible with things like making sure I took my supplements every day, making sure I meditated and mindset was in a good place. And then the food program was really great because for me, my diet's pretty good, but I needed to be actually taking in more and more of the right things.
Yeah.
So again, I didn't follow the food program. It was more of an inspiration to
Yeah.
me of what I should be eating and how I could actually get enough protein, get enough carbs to actually support what I was doing in day-to-day life.
Okay, perfect. Well, that kind of answered the next one about did the program was it able to fit into your lifestyle and the foods you liked and things like that?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely. And it also took me out of, I guess even with food, we get in comfort zones, don't
Yeah.
we? There
Yeah.
was also a bit of inspiration to go, hey, I'd never thought of putting that with that.
Yeah.
Or just actually, I will substitute some sweet potato for something else,
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
ideas.
Oh, awesome. Cool. Did you feel like because a lot of these things people always think, oh, when I go on these programs, I'm going to be so hungry and I'm not going to be able to eat what I want. Like, did you feel that restriction or did you feel like it was quite
No,
comfortable?
it
Okay.
made me aware because
Hmm.
when you're tracking your food, you become aware.
Yeah.
So I knew if I had a few more glasses of wine on the weekend,
Yeah.
I knew that I could then rectify that during the week with a
Yeah.
little bit more discipline. And it also meant that like if I went out to dinner, I knew what I could eat when I went out to dinner. And in fact, I needed to eat far more than I was.
Yeah.
And what I really noticed is when I upped the intake, my energy went up. So
Yeah.
a lot of that lethargy or, sluggishness in the morning, those sort of things actually left because I was eating enough and I was eating enough of the right foods.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
And just for the record, because we're recording this, there was a lot of few extra wines in that from your part. Just,
Hey,
I just
hey,
want
I'm
to,
only
I,
human.
I just want to get that on record, just so we know. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of wine
I
there.
live in a wine growing area. I have to say.
Yeah, you're allowed. You're allowed. If you live where you live, it's part of the
Exactly.
moving process.
Exactly. When
Exactly.
in Rome.
Oh, good. Okay. In terms of help along the way, like what kind of sort of cheerleading or help did you get during the program? Like, did you find you needed more, less? Like, how did you find that support?
No, look, I love that you were flexible with that. So I might have a week where I was powering through and I felt really on top of it.
Yeah.
And then I might have come up with a week where, because of other stuff happening in my life, I was struggling a bit. And you jump on a few extra calls that week with me,
Yeah.
just to keep me going.
Yeah.
I also love the little inspiring text messages from time
Yeah.
to time, because you knew where I was at as
Yeah.
well with this and
Yeah.
how I tell what I needed. And the out of the blue stuff occasionally was just really nice, because it's really nice to know someone cares.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, yeah.
In our modern world, we don't always take the time in each other's lives to check in.
Mm.
And you're very good at that. You are very good at that regardless. But even on the program, it was really nice to have someone just watching over.
Awesome. Awesome. And I still watch over you just as a
Yes.
side note as well. I think I think it's close to stalking. Just kidding, it's not. Okay. And then looking at results. So, how did you keep track of your progress? Did you use scales, photos, the way your clothes fitted? Like, what was for you personally? What was your kind of gauge of how you felt and things like that?
Look, for me, I've always tried to stay away from scales.
Yeah.
I come from a classical ballerina background, and there are hangovers from that that I try and stay away from.
Yeah.
What I tried to focus on is, how do I feel today? So energy was a big thing for
Yeah.
me. How am I sleeping?
Yeah.
That's another one. And then and then once that sort of came into play, I felt better about my body
Yeah.
as it improved. And I could notice things about my body as it
Good.
improved as well.
And doing those bedtime rituals, right? Switching off.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, and
Getting
making
those.
sleep sacred.
Yeah.
That's a that's a key.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because you got the whole family in your bed, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So at the end, like what sort of changes did you see for both in and out? I know we've spoken a little bit about that, but feeling inside and outside, like by the end of the program, sort of what was some really key changes that you felt and saw?
Yeah. Look, I think the program length is good.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have done it any shorter, and I
yeah,
wouldn't recommend anyone look for a program any shorter, because over that length of time, it becomes a routine.
yeah,
So it actually becomes something you just don't think about
yeah,
anymore. So it set me up with those good rituals, both at the beginning of the day, food rituals, exercise rituals,
yeah,
and then sleep rituals that have now just become everyday life.
yeah.
So
Perfect.
I'm not thinking about it. And
Awesome.
I also like that, because of the regime, if I do fall off the wagon, or if I travel and things get crazy, I can just come back and reset, and that's okay. And I
Yeah.
think that's something that you really got across to me, is we're not perfect.
No.
Life will never be perfect. You won't always have a perfect
Well, you
structure.
are pretty close to perfect, but
Well, yeah,
yeah.
hey.
Yeah.
Still aiming for more.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
But being able to adjust it
Yeah.
has to be flexible for you. And even things like, you gave me some great tips for when I'm traveling,
Mm.
taking my own food, what sorts of food to take, and just some of those ideas
Yeah.
that you don't always have time to research and think about yourself.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. So a couple of tough sort of things, not when I say tough, in just things that I wanted to ask you. What was the hardest part for you and how did you get past it? Like what was something that you thought, okay, this is something I really have to focus on and how did you get past that? Like how did it help?
Look, I think for me, the first one is always making that investment,
Yeah.
saying yes.
Yeah.
Investing in yourself, particularly
Yeah.
when you're a mother, a businesswoman, a daughter.
Yeah.
The bookend of life where I've got my parents, but I've also got my kids.
Yeah.
Yes, to me
Yeah.
is hard.
Yeah.
So the encouragement to actually invest, not
Yeah.
spend money on myself or time on myself, but to actually invest in myself, that
Yeah.
was probably the hardest
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Um,
'Cause you're giving
and
to so many other people, you know? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And we don't always spend time and money on ourselves and
Mm.
invest in that.
Yeah.
But once I did, I was pleased, because
Yeah.
then you're actually filling everybody else's cup by being your best
Exactly.
self.
Exactly. And that was
Um,
one of the major things I worked with you is that you're such a beautiful person that you give so much to everybody else. And we talked about that, like, which is fantastic, but you can't give to others if you haven't got enough, so really proud of you for really sticking to giving yourself more.
and
Yeah.
look, there were a couple of days where I was like, oh, I shouldn't go to training tonight and you were like, Dee,
Yeah.
this is important. You're
Yeah.
important. And
Exactly.
just so having that person for me was
Yeah.
really good. The other thing was like eating more. Like
Yeah.
I think as women, we tend to not eat more. Like
Yeah.
we watch it to the point where so it was really reevaluating, what is my body needing right now?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
it's not about quantity, it's about quality and the type of
Yeah.
food. They're probably the two things.
Good,
Yeah.
yeah, because for years we've been told as women, eat if you want to lose weight and do be healthy, eat less, eat less. It's like it's ingrained in our brain, right? So, yeah, it's really good that you got that sort of mental part around it. So it's awesome. Cool. Okay, so a few more things. So if a friend was thinking about starting this program, what would you tell them?
100% do it.
Oh, awesome.
100% do it.
Phew,
Like,
that was a good answer. Right, right answer.
and also I love the camaraderie we have within the others doing the
Yeah,
program as well. Like that's something I've always loved about the community you built around our spin classes. You know,
yeah,
some of those people I text all the time, I
yeah,
message all the time. We met during COVID,
yeah,
didn't actually meet in person for so long.
yeah,
And it was the same thing. It was camaraderie with
yeah,
the other people doing the program. And even though it was their own personal private journeys,
yeah,
there were some aspects we could still relate to with
yeah,
each other. So yeah, it's more than just a transformation for your mind and body. It's also about, it's a social
yeah,
aspect
yeah.
for it
And
as well.
it's also a nice feeling to know that you've got other people in the same boat, like we're
Totally.
all, you know,
And in the same frame of mind, going through the same things. And I think
yeah.
that's a real testament to you. You're someone who really knows how to build community. And that's amazing.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Okay, cool. So how do you see yourself keeping up with these new habits and routines? Like, I mean, you've been off for a few weeks now, so how have you sort of, kept up with some of these things that kind of keep, that we learned?
Well, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I'm doing a dance fundraiser where I'm having to put up to 16 hours of dance in my calendar each
Yeah,
week. And it is okay, yes, it's for charity, so I'm doing it for someone else, but I'm enjoying it so much.
yeah,
But because of the program, I think I'm able to do it
yeah.
because of that. Because
Awesome.
I'm watching what I eat, I'm making sure sleep is sacred. And even when I'm traveling, I'm enjoying the time in the gym. I'm
Mm,
enjoying going to the sauna.
yeah,
So it's really set me up. I've probably had the busiest 3 months of my year that I have every year.
yeah,
And I'm such a better place than I
yeah.
have been in previous years. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Last little one. So, how do you think this whole experience will shape your health and fitness goals from here on out? Like, has it given you the tools and I mean, I know we've touched on some of it, but has it given you the tools and stuff to kind of think forward in terms of health? You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like my health now is better than ever. I pretty much kick cancer's butt, which is amazing.
Yeah.
A lot of things.
Woo.
But probably the biggest impact that this whole regime has had as well is on my children.
Yeah.
So
Cute-
I look
You've got
at
very cute children too.
I do have very cute
Yeah.
children,
Yeah. They're pretty
and
cool.
they love their activities and fitness, but
Yeah.
I'm looking at how they're managing both sides of it. So they're looking at the fuel they're taking in.
Mm.
They're looking at their sleep. They're taking time out and
Yeah.
resting which is another thing that you really imparted was the rest is just as
Mm.
important.
Yeah.
So it's not just the impact it's had on me, but they've been watching me. They've
Yeah.
seen me make this investment in myself and prioritize that. And that's going to have a legacy impact.
Yeah.
So I think as women, we need to think beyond just ourselves, but the
Yeah.
impact we have on others.
Especially having a teenage daughter as well,
Absolutely.
giving her positive stuff about body image and health. There's so much of that stuff out there. It's, you're a really good example for her, and she's a beautiful girl. So keep doing what you're doing.
It is. And it's
Awesome.
about how you feel,
Yeah.
not
Not the
look.
physical. Yep, that's good.
Went through. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed checking in on you every single day. Even though you finish, I still, still like to stalk you and stuff, which is well, we see each other all the time anyway. So, but no, thank you so much for the interview. It
Oh,
has
my
been
pleasure. My
awesome. And yeah, we will keep up to date. I feel weird finishing it like this. It's like
Well, I could spin on the fourth, so look out.
May the fourth be with you. No, that's cool. Hey, thanks for that, girlfriend. I appreciate it.
Our absolute pleasure.